I'm glad we are live.
We are live, and actually, we're on like right before we need to be. So, I'll put everybody backstage.
Welcome to Geekin' Out. We're back with season 2. We are here joined today with our assembled geek crew. We're Geeking Out, where we talk about kind of the culture, things we're geeking out about, things that are happening within that world and that realm of things. So we're glad to have you joining us this week. We are here every Monday. So we're happy to have you. My name is Julian. I will be leading us today. We are doing a very special event on this episode. We're doing a little bit of the MCU universe. But before we dive into that, we're gonna get a few other things going. First, I'm gonna introduce my cast, or our cast rather today. so you have myself. I'm Julian. I've been here. I'm a geek, computer scientist, Aes Sedai, gray Jedi. Sorry. What else? Math blaster, Brewhole, a lot of things, all that stuff.
Sorcerer.
Yeah, sorcerer. We're an eclectic cast over here. We're all crazy, but a little bit crazy. I am at least. But below me, I have Tamon. Why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
What's up, everybody? I'm Tamon Kane, writer, director, producer, author, entrepreneur, horror movie enthusiast, the second lead vocalist. All those cool things, and I'm just hanging out here with my people. Ricky, how you doing tonight?
Good. So I'm Ricky Z. So I am usually the person that's behind the scenes here. I am a mom, a business owner, social media manager for podcast, and a teacher. You'll see me talk about all things TVD and fangirl-ish and all those fun things, and Steven Universe. All right, Jermaine, introduce yourself. Oh no, Jermaine, we can't hear you.
Sad days. We can't hear you. Okay, well, Jermaine is our jack of 1,000 fandoms. He likes to dabble in a great many things in a very wide range of varieties. So we like to have him. We love him because his knowledge is actually pretty vast. So it's great.
Yeah.
He's a little bit silent at the moment, but we will be remedying that as we go along. So, first thing, I also wanted to say, how are we all feeling today? It's Monday. I hope everyone in our audience is feeling great. I'm feeling great. So, it's good vibes today.
I'm feeling good. Once this starts working and does its thing, I'll be great.
Yeah,
it's just been a day.
Awesome. Okay, so then, all right, so moving right along into that perfect segue. What we have been doing lately is we've been doing a little drinking game with our episodes. So this episode, anytime we say the word multiverse, Ooh, and we have to take a sip. So we're gonna be very drunk by the end of this. If you know anything about the current version, about the current like state of the MCU, we will be very drunk by the end of this. But we are going to make this work. So, please like, share, follow, subscribe. We are on YouTube Live. We are on Facebook Live. And wherever. Yes, we have it.
Jermaine, can you hear us?
Yes. We're all here. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all those things. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Look
OnlyFans.
Yes, we have all our links. You'll definitely find it on one of these posts of ours. So, moving right along. So we are going to on the first part of this, we are going to first get a little bit of a group together to explore our MCU multiverse. Oh, that's the first one. All right. So
what's the magic word for the night?
I just said it, but there it goes again.
Multiverse.
There it is. So that is the magic word for the day. So to explore that thing, that one, oh girl, she was ready for it. We're gonna put together a whole little group. We're gonna actually call them, I thought, because we usually go by a little bit of chaotic and unprofessional. We're gonna call this the MC at Marvel Studios, Marvel's Chaotix. So all right, so we're gonna get a group together. I'm gonna start. We're gonna get a gang together. Good evening, Corwin.
Hi, Corwin.
We're happy to have you. Oh, also, I want to know if any of your favorite Marvel characters. Let us know because they might join our team. Mine is gonna start with Nightcrawler. Okay, so mine's a little bit out of the way. I feel like he's not one of your most popular characters, I guess. As far as like beloved, I feel like he gets trumped by a few other X-Men most of the time, as far as the hierarchy goes. But he is probably my absolute favorite. His style is amazing. His Banff ports are fucking awesome. Because that's like his tagline for it. Whenever he teleports, it's awesome. That and then also what always I found endearing was just his storyline, actually, because he was always one of his defining characteristics is because he's blue. He's very visibly an outcast. So like he plays that role of he plays that archetype of the X-Men because a lot of them can be kind of passing versus not. So it relates to my real world and stuff. So like growing up, I really was attracted to him because that resonated with me, being kind of like an outsider by visual medium, So that was always a big draw for me for him. That and his swords, because he was kind of awesome like with those. But they never really, they don't explore that as much as they should. More in the comics, but you never really see that in screen on screen. So
Nightcrawler was kick ass. He was like in X-Men, it was Fox, but it's still Marvel legacy.
Right.
In X-Men 2, he opened the movie and tore that entire White House.
I know. That was actually when he came out in that one, it was great. Like I really did kind of want more from him in the end. As far as like when they developed his characters in other installments and stuff, but he like his debut was still baller. It was great. All right, so
I wonder though, like how, because I feel like Nightcrawler is actually more popular as far as like comic fans are concerned, as opposed to like
because he was like in the original
the movies or the cartoons.
Yeah, he was definitely in the original arcade. Like he was one of the the main 4 or 5 of the original arcade game. Like and he's a prominent character in like the original X-Men group, and then going further, like in the Uncanny X-Men, he becomes like the leader with Wolverine and stuff. He really is like he is a main staple of the X-Men team in the comics. And the movies, they don't give him as much
He's been in 3 movies though.
But that's true. He's been in a lot of them. But my thing is, I guess it's just it's more than just the overall disappointment of the X-Men movies. I guess that's what it is.
Because like when you think of like X-Men Evolution, like he's totally like a sweet cinnamon roll.
Yeah,
he's like in that series. Like you can
awesome.
help but love that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's great when they bring him around. But we'll see what happens in the future because once we move away from Fox, we'll see how much more bravado they give him. But let's go with Tamon. What do you got?
Okay, so I have a favorite that I've had since I was a child, and I still hold true to this favorite, and it's Jean Grey. And Jean Grey is an amazing, though she has mental health issues, she has all the power inside of her to do all these horrible things, planets and solar systems. And, Jean, that's my girl.
All right, Jean Grey. Okay, so it cut out a little bit. I'm not sure if that was just me or if that was overall.
No, that was me trying to fix your mic. That was my fault. That was my bad.
Okay.
Oh, no problem. So Jean Grey is my girl. If you don't know me, I have a thing for redheads. So Jean Grey is my girl. So I like her abilities. She's one of those ones that she gets a hard time on social media, and all of my friends who have something rude to say about Jean, they know that I'll go up to bat for her in like 2 seconds and probably do something really crazy, just like Jean would. But Jean is everything, and that's all I got to say about that.
When I was younger, I did gravitate toward Jean. I did think that she was kind of baller, but
Nobody gravitated toward Jean when they were kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the gay in me gravitated toward her. She had all that hair.
Did you faint a lot as a kid?
No, it wasn't that. She did faint a lot.
Watch it.
She did faint all the time.
Tread really lightly on those.
She did faint all the time.
I'm ready. I am ready.
Okay, but she had the scope of her power. She became the Phoenix and stuff, and like that was
Y'all
always
over
like
here
cool about her.
Like seduced by later knowledge of being like, oh, she's a cosmic entity. No.
No,
she is the fainting queen.
No,
she will always
not.
be the fainting queen.
No, she's not. You're the fainting queen.
I only recognized her as the fainting queen when I became older, and
she's
then watching it afterwards. Queen. Then I was like, oh, she does faint a lot.
Man,
I was like,
I don't know, I think because that first like animated cartoon, the cartoon for X-Men,
it slayed her a lot.
They had her fainting a lot.
Just because she was impressive as a Dark Phoenix does not mean that Jean's like that all the time.
Oh,
she's OP all the time. She's OP all the time. I feel attacked, honestly. I just came here to share my opinion about Jean Grey.
I love her. Okay, so our group currently has 2 X-Men, and we've got Nightcrawler, we've got Jean Grey.
That's all we need. We're done.
And honestly, they're already great characters for this because they're already both like cosmic. Nightcrawler, the way his portals work, the way his teleportation works, he moves in through dimensions, through the multiverse, in order to move from place to place.
Oh my god.
And then we have Jean Grey, whose powers are essentially infinite in a way, so obviously cosmic. So she definitely she works. She lives up there with that spot. So it's good. So who do we got next? Who else do we have joining our team? How about you, Ricky? What do we got?
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I thought it was muted. So
I'm sorry.
I know. This damn multiverse. Okay, so. I had to take a quiz because I wasn't quite sure. Like, I honestly still don't know so like the quiz that I took said that I am more like Spider-Man.
Okay, but I'll take him.
Okay, so maybe I'll do Spider-Gwen.
Okay,
nice.
Okay, I'll do Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
I don't want to be Peter Parker. I'll be Spider-Gwen.
That's good work.
I'll take it. We need people that's gonna be, really hand to hand. I mean, Nightcrawler, you and him can team up. I'm interested to see what Jermaine is going to talk about since he had so much to say about Jeannie. But,
He's like, I can't wait to find out who you're going to pick.
Yes, watch you say it's Mystique or Wolverine, and I'm just going to delete this.
Wolverine.
No, okay, nobody's allowed to say Wolverine. Not on this show.
Not at all.
First of all, if I were to pick any Wolverine clone, it would either be Sabretooth or X-23.
Absolutely.
You will not call me a basic bitch.
That's right.
Because you're basic.
No.
Okay, Jermaine, who?
But who do you got?
Okay, so if we're going from all the multiverse of all time, deep in my heart, deep in my heart, I want to say Storm, but I know that no, I'm not that. That's not who I am. I enjoy her, but no, I'd be probably more. But I gotta stay away from the X-Men right now. I'm going to go strictly MCU characters. So
they're still MCU. Stop.
Hmm?
They're still MCU.
No,
I know. Not yet, but they're definitely paving the way. They're paving the way. They're gonna be there soon enough.
They're coming at some time in the 2030s.
In the next like
but right now.
2030.
Not 2030s. Like in the next like 3
2030s.
years. In the next like 3 years. No.
Yeah, like 3 years.
I don't know.
Even if it's in 3 years, in MCU time, that's the 2030s.
I can't.
Because they technically have
like legit like 3 years. Yeah, they have a lot.
No, it's gonna be Phase 5. It's Phase 5. They already talked about it because Fantastic Four is coming, and then they're introducing some of the Marvel X-Men characters throughout. I believe there's a. You know what? We'll get into that later.
Right.
But Jermaine, we're waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
A favorite character in the MCU that embodies who I am.
Okay, what I will say is that Storm was a great idea, but Storm wasn't as practical because I feel like her powers don't work as well cosmically as they do within the bounds of Earth's like physics. You get me?
Let me interject with that. Storm can actually jump into any environment. And
wait. Are we talking like people that can jump multiverses?
Oh yeah. Okay. Boy, it doesn't have to be. You're giving it too much thought now.
Jermaine, please.
I'm just saying because if Duryea was here right now, he'd probably curse you out.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay, think of it this way. You need a tank or a healer?
Franklin Richards.
Okay, perfect. Who's that? Sorry.
He's Sue Storm and Reed Richards' OP ass son, who can he's in the top 5 strongest Marvel characters of all times. He can do every fucking thing, create universes, pocket universes. He's basically Bonnie Bennett.
That's true. But the thing I love about Franklin is that he's just a fun-loving kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, whatever. We'll take it.
We need someone not gonna lose.
Oh, exactly. We need someone fun-loving and a little bit OP. I mean, we got cosmic forces to deal with. But I do like Cherry Blossom's suggestion for Rogue. We all love fucking Rogue. I'm sorry, that bitch.
I do love
Can
Rogue.
we please have the Rogue we deserve, Marvel? Give us the Rogue we deserve.
Thank you. But that's what I think that she'll come with X-Men, the new installation of X-Men. And to be honest, it will come the way we want it because Disney is I hate them, but I'm so in hate with them right now.
It's gonna come the way we want it because Marvel lately has had an obsession with subverting your expectations. So the more people want something and the more people like look into the comics to be like, oh, this is the source, this is gonna happen, the more they undo that. That's what happened with Wanda and her kids. That's what happened. Like it's littered all through Phase 4.
Yeah. That's true. But wait. Well, okay, so that's fine. We can have a difference of opinion there. I think it's still coming though.
I mean, but there is a rumor that Rogue may be in Miss Marvel, and she may be the villain to snatch up Miss Marvel's powers and give us what we deserve.
Thank you.
That's what everyone expects.
Yeah, but Miss Marvel. Yeah, but there's also doing. I think it's gonna come later. I think that's gonna come a little bit later than we're expecting. Maybe that because there is the Marvels movie, and that is supposed to be in Phase 5 sometime. So that makes me think
next year.
Okay, but that's still part of Phase 5 versus Phase 4. It's the beginning of Phase 5, so it's supposed to be part of the next series of movies. So you know what I mean. The point here is that it's gonna be a little bit later than we expect because they have to keep them alive at least for that. You know what I mean?
Are you sure? Because the thing is that like Phase 4 is still technically going to be going on for another like year and a half. Like they're still like into 2020.
Phase 4 is Miss Marvel is listed under
Phase 4.
Okay, stop. Phase 4 is
Miss
ending.
Marvel or Marvels?
The Miss Marvel is going to still be in Phase 4. The Marvels is Phase 5.
So that's probably not until 23, 24.
Yes.
Okay.
That feels right. That weird. You know, we said X-Men are coming in the next 3 to 5 years. So hey,
that's what I'm saying. It's coming. It's coming for sure, but it's coming later. You know what I mean? That's all. But Rogue, I'm saying, isn't coming until definitely after the Marvels. I think.
So like before we get into like too much of like theories, because that is going to be like a big thing.
Oh,
Yes, we're gonna
We
put
might
that
want
at
to
the
go to a
end.
commercial break.
Yes, we're gonna do that actually really quick. Okay, so yeah, we got our team together. We are ready to explore the multiverse. We're gonna take a quick break. Also, the next part is gonna have some spoilers, just so you guys know. So if you're not as caught up on Phase 4 on the current MCU, we will be talking about it. You will catch some spoilers, so please keep that in mind. But definitely share, like, subscribe, all those things, and we will be right back.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
All right,
I
welcome
love it.
back.
Hey.
I know. Oh, we love the production. All right,
I
so tell us
love
about this one. This commercial we just saw.
Oh, can you see this? TK Publishing, that's my publishing company. We are a full service publishing company from content development all the way to print and distribution. So, any authors or you don't know that you're an author, come check me out, call us. You can go to my website, www.tkpublishing.info. You can schedule a free consultation. We can talk about making your writing dreams happen. And our slogan is Get Read. So, let's go.
Yes, get
Yes.
ready.
All right.
We love it. We love it.
Oh,
Okay, so
yeah.
welcome. Yeah. Okay, so our cast is amazing. I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
our team is baller. I mean, we have our
Yes.
ballers.
First of
We're a little
all,
bit. Oh,
can I change my character because I just thought of somebody that I love way more than
No,
Frank
no,
and Richard?
sir.
no.
I
Namor.
want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear
Yeah, I
it.
do want to hear it.
Namor, Prince of the Deep, King of
Okay.
Aquaman.
Atlantis. I'm all Namor all day, just full of himself for almost no reason. Like,
Okay.
Well, we do know that he's coming in Black Panther too, so that's a great thing.
mhm.
There is that. There is
So he is
that.
coming.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
I'm only attracted to those that are apparently attached to other people.
Destroy my life, unrequited love, even my
oh no, Jenna!
even in my
Unrequited.
fandom.
No one said anything
Jenna,
about that.
no!
Oh, okay, okay, my bad. Okay, so we're all right. Well, back onto the spoiler alerts and things. Okay, so I think we'll just do a really quick synopsis to get us caught up to the MCU where we are now. So this part is still a little bit spoilers as well, but I feel like most of us have already been through at least the first 3 phases. So Jose was actually saying that he wasn't sure that there were phases. I'm going to school you a little bit right now. So beginning with phase 1, also known as Assemble, it starts with Iron Man. Obviously, he's the beginning of our MCU experience, and then that introduces us to Tony Stark, and then Shield, and then and this formation of the Avengers with Nick Fury, and then that kind of brings us into really. They're just doing a lot of groundwork in phase 1. So we get Iron Man, so we get that groundwork there, and then the beginning of the Avengers. Then next we have the Hulk, so then they do his backstory, and then they set him up with Bruce Banner, and then that they kind of link that into Captain America, because Bruce Banner he's essentially he becomes the Hulk by way of trying to reproduce the whole super soldier that created Captain America, of course. So then he has his own part of phase 1 where they introduce him in and introduce his antagonist, which is Hydra, who is also an organization that it permeates all of the MCU multiverse universe. Yeah, Hydra. But, okay, so then we get Thor as well, which introduces Loki, and then by the way, Hawkeye is in that one, like right in the beginning, kind of briefly, because there's all kinds of Easter eggs throughout. We also get introduced to who comes in there. And then the Avengers, so then, which all kind of culminates into the Avengers afterwards, which is our very first grouping of all of them together, I suppose. So now we've been introduced to Black Widow at this point, who was first debuted in Iron Man. We're introduced to Thor. Iron Man 2, yes, exactly. We have Thor. We have the Hulk. Who else is on there? Is that bad? I don't remember the original Avengers.
So
Yeah,
Captain America, Hulk,
Captain, and that's it. Wanda.
Man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
No, not
Wanda.
Wanda.
No, Wanda
No,
doesn't
she
come
was
until Age
introduced
of
in Phase
Ultron.
2.
Sorry.
Okay.
Iron Man. Hulk. That's it.
Hawkeye.
Yep, it was just those 6.
Hawkeye. There's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. There we go. Sorry. That's what I was missing. So then we have Hawkeye.
And Natasha. Yeah, Natasha.
Yeah,
Romanoff
was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so the group is very small, but the ones that had like main titles were Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. Everyone else was kind of a side character, but then of course they get their limelight later. So then that moves us into Phase 2, which is the Age of Ultron. And that begins with Iron Man 3, where we have introduced to Pepper getting poisoned, and then we have all those Iron Man suits, and then Iron Man essentially kind of renounces Iron Man, but then of course comes back.
Iron Man 3 had it set up so much for so little payoff.
It really was. That's why I felt like that was just like in Iron Man. So I just like, oh, that one just happened.
It's almost non-canon.
Yeah,
the way that they were like, oh yeah, he's done, and all this stuff. And by the way, none of this matters.
There's a few that are like that. They still exist within the universe, but they don't exactly move the MCU forward. They just
like Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, for example. Exactly. So, and to be honest,
that was shade.
Oh, actually, yeah, Captain Marvel. Yeah, Black Widow would do that if it came out earlier. To be honest, but
maybe I mean it was a prequel.
Yeah, well, I think it's because they were setting up another character for later in that movie, which is why I say that. It would be more standalone, but anyway. On to the next part. So we also have Thor and the Dark Elves versus the Dark Elves and that whole conflict, and then of course it reveals more about Asgard and then the Infinity Stones as well. Well, a little bit about the Infinity Stones. We start to kind of get glimpses of them in the Age of Ultron, and then we have Captain and the Winter Soldier, which is more Hydra. Guardians of the Galaxy, which introduces us to our very first Infinity Stone, that we know of, that it's an Infinity Stone at least. You know what I mean? That we meet it firsthand. And then of course we meet our lovely Groot, and we got introduced to a whole cast of our outer space cosmic characters. And that just expands the universe a little bit further in Phase 2, and then also encompasses a lot of their other titles, which is what I really find amazing about the MCU and the amount of time and the effort that they put into these movies as they've been unfolding. Age of Ultron was your favorite. Yes, because
listen, I love the fact that Marvel is so intentional about every single thing that they do, from casting to a flyer on the wall to somebody's license falling out of their pocket, and it's important because you need to know whose name is on it. Like, they're so intentional in the way that they weave together this universe, this multiverse. Is really just amazing.
Whomever is working the continuity and keeping up with the continuity Bibles,
they need as much of a check as Kevin Feige.
Oh my God, yes.
Well, from what I've heard reported, they've got like one room where the timelines and all the continuity is laid out like on boards, and it's so big that it just spreads across the entire walls throughout the whole room.
I'm sorry, but Davila, if you simply Google watch the Marvel movies in chronological order, it'll show up.
It'll tell you.
There's a few that
that tells you exactly how to do it, because they'll tell you to start with which one will this make you start with? Either they'll have you start with Captain America first.
They usually
chronologically it's Captain America and then Captain Marvel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's if you just straight up Google the MCU movies in chronological order, they'll list it to you exactly how it should be. And
you can just type in what order should I watch the Marvel movies.
Honestly, that question.
And if you even look further, it'll tell you where to insert the TV shows, the shit of Agent Shield and Peggy Carter, all that stuff. They'll tell you where to.
Agent Carter is supposed to come right after Captain America.
Right. They'll tell you where to find it.
On Disney Plus, they have in the Marvel section, they have it set up in two different forms. You can watch them either in release date or in chronological order.
Yes,
Boom.
yes.
That
Because
all.
Disney Plus already puts the movies in chronological order. They won't do the same thing, including
Yeah.
the shows, but you can watch the shows on Disney Plus too. You can watch
Yes.
Agent of Shield and Peggy Carter on there. But
And if you
Jose,
watch
I
Agent Carter, only watch season 1.
It's only one season. It got canceled. Thankfully.
too.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't watch. I only saw the first 3 episodes and I couldn't do it. But Jose, I promise you this: if you are following us in our Facebook group, I will post the order in a screenshot of what you should watch it in. But you have to like it. So you have to join the group and then like the post, and then you'll have what you need. I'll do that for you.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it for you. Don't worry.
The Vilas has been on our sister show, Talk It Out, several times, so he should know
So
where
you
to
know
go.
what to do.
Right, you should know what to do, Davila.
Just gotta like, follow, subscribe. You know how it goes. Send it. Okay, so we'll get on that for you for sure. But
Me
I
too,
prefer
Billy.
release date too because I don't really care about the crunch.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I prefer release date.
I like going in order because as someone that did not read the comics, I enjoy figuring out the big picture as I watch the movies and rewatch the movies.
Oh.
So but even then though, like when we get like episodes coming from like Loki or WandaVision, I have to go back to those movies that they reference throughout and like rewatch it and finish. And like I love doing that.
Yeah. Going back for the Easter eggs is always a good time. Going back for
yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean they're rife with it, which is the best part. So but yeah, so then
WandaVision was full of it.
Oh god.
Man.
Oh my gosh. So was Loki.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, we're getting there. Okay, so then phase 2 we were talking about. So phase 2 was Age of Ultron mostly. That was like their main big bad, I suppose. They did introduce Thanos more of like as a picture scene and like a dark picture scene in the background.
Well, they introduced
phase
Thanos. Well, they teased Thanos at the end of Avengers, the first Avengers movie.
Yeah. So at the end of phase 1, they like teased him, but they didn't quite like get to him yet. So then we hit Ultron, and that he was the big conflict of phase 2, and then we hit phase 3, which is Endgame, and now we hit Thanos. So now we've hit our mini boss, and now we're at the big boss, which it turns out to be another mini boss, but still. so we hit now our big boss, and now we're at Endgame. So now this is everything that just kind of centers around the Infinity Stones. So this is and like a lot of about alternate realities and things. So now our MCU universe has moved off of Earth into the cosmic area, into the cosmic multiverse and things. So then we had Doctor Strange, multiverse. I said not twice. We had Doctor Strange.
Oh,
which definitely expanded our universe. We had Guardians of the Galaxy. That one actually was also great because that introduced Ego, which introduced the concept of the Celestials, which is going to play a great part in what is coming in.
Yes.
So
to answer Jose, no, Thanos was not in Guardians of the Galaxy. That
Ronan was
Ronan, the Accuser.
That was his son, right?
No.
Ronan
is a member of the Kree race. He's a religious radical of the Kree Empire.
But he was just one of
Thanos.
Yeah, he just worked under him.
Because we know about what's her name?
Nebula Gamora.
Nebula Gamora. So like we know about them being the daughters of Thanos when they're introducing Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't think we actually see Thanos.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
No,
we don't see Thanos till towards the end.
Yeah, we just hear his. Yeah, that's the thing. We see him as a teaser at the end of phase 1, and then we just hear about him within phase 2, and then we actually see him finally, but we don't actually battle him until phase 3, which is Endgame, and that's where all that kind of comes in. So then we see Ego. So we go back to Guardians of the Galaxy. We make our way back into the stars, and we meet Ego and the Celestials, and that whole concept, which is going to be revisited much later. Which we're going to get.
Quick question. Oh, sorry. So I know we haven't really gotten to phase 3 yet, but in the second Guardian of the Galaxy, Volume 2. And before they meet Ego, there's that like guy on the ship and like waves and like helps save. Do we know who that is, or was that Ego himself? And he just kind of hopped back. It was like a little man on a spaceship, and like he helped save the Guardians like while they're
was he bald-headed?
we didn't see. It was literally like a speck on a ship, and you could see this guy waving, and like I don't know.
Oh,
If
no. That was Ego.
That was
That's
Ego.
Okay.
The only weird thing in season 2, in volume 2, was what's her name? Aisha, the Gold Queen.
Oh, I liked her when they introduced Adam Warlock unofficially.
Yeah, when they teased Adam Warlock for the second time. And then they decided, we're not going to do Adam Warlock. We're going to do Captain Marvel instead.
Yeah.
Well, she also was pushing for her own movies, so they had to like.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
No.
They had legal problems. I'm sure they had to like go around.
Oh, legal problems.
Change their minds due to fan
That is
outcry.
something we need to talk about. Okay.
So they were leading up to Adam Warlock, but due to fan outcry of where are the female-led movies? Where are the females? How about Black Widow? Woo 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 woo. Marvel went through this whole thing, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get some women out here." Mm-hmm. And then they decided to switch gears and give us Captain Marvel instead of Adam Warlock.
I didn't care.
It's okay. I liked it though. I liked Captain Marvel.
I didn't. I love Brie Larson, but the movie was a snooze fest, and I've rewatched it a few times. But I'm going to keep saying this, and this is for you, Jermaine. The first female person outside of Black Widow, it should have been Storm. She deserves so many of her things. Whether it's a Disney Plus show,
deserve a
whether
lot,
it's an origin movie, but something. But Captain Marvel,
I personally feel like, as much as I love Storm, she's no fun to watch alone. Like, she needs her surrounding cast of X-Men to like sort of bounce off of, because whenever she has like a solo comic or something, I'm just like, do something. Like, it's just stuff that happens around her, and she's just like lost half the time.
Now,
imagine going through the what's his name, the Shadow King, and going through that in like her 6-episode origin story. The Shadow King and Professor X is a dope part of Storm's origin.
That is nice.
But again, that's not her that's interesting. That's the Professor and the Shadow King that's being interesting. She's just the crux that made them meet. Like,
if you kind of see his followers.
I hope everyone who's watching hear what he says about Storm. I get into Storm fights all the time because I tell people, you only like Storm because you're of color. If she was Caucasian and she had the same powers, you would not feature her like that. And that's the truth.
Ooh.
Multiverse.
Well, I don't know, because she had enough sass that we, you know what I mean, that we could relate to.
I love Storm.
I mean, there's other reasons. My point is that there are other reasons there are other things to relate to her for. You know what I mean? It's not just that because she's.
Every goddess needs followers. Thank you, Billy.
Yes.
And that is true. She is definitely that.
She is
to any atmosphere.
Let's get back on track, because we haven't really even touched phase 4.
Oh god, and phase 4. Okay, so phase 3 is Endgame. Thanos, we're done with that. We finally remove him. We get our snap, which is we end with the snap, which is one of the biggest things in the MCU universe. It like eliminated half the people within the universe. Period. So we lost characters that we loved, and then now we are entering phase 4, which is the legacy phase. And that began with WandaVision, I believe, right? Yes, was the first release of phase 4. She cracked that bitch open, but
phase 3 ended with Spider-Man
Away From Home.
Away from Home, yeah.
Was it? I thought it was Black Panther.
Or was it Homecoming?
No, Homecoming was his first movie. So Away From Home, the one where he's actually in Europe, Away From Home.
It definitely wasn't Black Panther.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, sorry.
No, Black Panther came in between Infinity War and Endgame,
and shook the table.
Yeah,
it did.
Right, because Spider-Man's the one that you see that is like technically right after this.
After the snap.
Okay, sorry, my bad. All right, well, so then Spider-Man comes in between, but that's still phase 3 technically. So, but the point is that we end phase 3 with the snap, which is like the biggest plot device there. And then we enter with phase 4 with WandaVision.
Shut up, Billy.
They both lost their.
Okay, that was a great joke.
It's bad that it's lost on me. You might have to.
You lost it.
It's lost on me. I didn't see that.
Howard
one.
Daredevil.
You didn't see WandaVision?
Oh wait, I did see WandaVision.
So Howard
Daredevil
Daredevil
is
and
blind.
Wanda like. Yes.
Oh, I missed that part, bitch. I was there we go. They both lost their vision. I missed the first part of that joke, guys. Oh, that Billy
that
is shady.
Multiverse drink.
Billy is shady. We
Cheers,
like
Billy.
Soon.
It is a little too soon. I'm still crying over Vision. Okay, so WandaVision came. We cried over Vision because we lost him. We also got kind of introduced to a lot of like the multiverse timeline, magic-y parts, things. So that there was a lot of Easter eggs in that. We got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is cool because that's actually setting up a whole different thing. Which, in case anybody is not quite sure of what it is, I have just recently found out that it is Dark Avenger.
Oh, you just found out?
I just found out. Yes, I'm only just.
Welcome to the party.
I was just like, I didn't realize that's what we were alluding to with this. Like, I kind of wanted it. I did want it to be a surprise. That was also a reason why. So I was like, okay, but at this point, I was like, I have to kind of do some research on it and find out. So they are assembling now the Dark Avengers, which is going.
I know it's really exciting.
It is exciting, but I feel like that one is going to be more of a series version, like a TV series version, than a movie. Like
that's what it should be.
Or it might culminate to a movie, but I feel like it's going to come in TV versions until that.
It's mimicking the phase 1 when Nick Fury was gathering all the Avengers.
Yeah.
So Val is like dark Nick Fury, but she's gathering heroes that don't really have heroic qualities. Like they don't care about killing.
They're the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, essentially, it's essentially one of those. So.
Yes, but
I hate to say that because me and DC have a horrible relationship.
Yeah, but I mean, what I do appreciate about it is that Marvel is trying to, for example, if anyone has heard about Multiverse of Madness, it is supposed to be one of Marvel's attempts at doing a darker movie, which we saw with what was that one they did, Inhumans, something like that. What was it called? Where it was like supposed to be kind of, it was more of a thriller than like your regular Marvel movie.
Marvel's been teasing us with that for years.
You don't remember the name?
They were like, "Oh, Doctor Strange is going to be our first horror
Doctor
movie,"
Strange is
and
going to
then
be like that, but
it was just a regular superhero movie.
Yeah, but
Doctor Strange is supposed to be the horror movie.
They said that the first time, and then they came out with one that they created as a horror movie. What was it called?
New Mutants, which was trash.
That was Fox.
New Mutants. There we go. Okay,
yeah.
so
Trash.
New Mutants. Okay, we all know
that
it didn't
was
go
on
very well.
HBO Max. So
we know
it's
that
still
one
on HBO Max, and it's almost like they took the Faculty and Nightmare on Elm Street and put them together into the worst combination possible.
They took because they took so long to get that shit out.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
But that's the thing. That's kind
and they
of.
had
But
to
they're
do reshoots, and like the actors are a different age, and like it's.
Okay, but they're trying to break that wall. Is the point? They're trying to move into darker movies and things like that. So Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be premised on that way. They had New Mutants that was like that. And to be perfectly honest, if you guys saw What If, which is also part of Phase 4, right in the beginning here that we're talking about, if when they did What If, the Warlock Doctor Strange, that was fucking awesome. That was dark. I like that. You know, I thought that concept was pretty cool. So I see them kind of
the zombie one.
Yeah, and the zombie one was great. I'm like, I see them trying to break that wall. So I like that. I think that
they're definitely going into Marvel is definitely going into the cosmic, supernatural, magical realm, which of course we all love that. Thank you for that, Marvel. But I just want them to get it right completely. Like Doctor Strange, Universe of Madness, I think it's going to be a game changer based on all the spoilers and rumors that are coming out and the casting things that are coming on. Hey, Volcanus Prime.
Yes, hey there. Hi, friend. Okay, so speaking of that, then let's kind of move into that. So the beginning of Phase 4 was, Black Widow. It was WandaVision. So we're seeing like a lot of the groundwork for Dark Avengers, at least in some of their smaller I guess the smaller titles, aka Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but they're bigger titles that are doing more. That is introducing us more into like the spell work and the spell and the cosmic universe and things. So we have Doctor Strange coming out, we've just been talking about. But along that line, we have the Eternals, which is coming out very soon, like next month, 2 months.
Yes.
November. Eternals, which totally goes along this line. So Eternals is supposed to be about like the celestial beings, I guess,
Yes.
who have been tasked with protecting Earth. Okay, so and this relates to Ego, what we were talking about before, which I really like. I don't know if anyone wants to weigh in on this one in particularly, or if they, because my excitement on this one is pretty high. Before I get into it,
because now that you're talking about it, like Eric, we're going to deal with like two separate like things going on here. So we do like the multiverse itself is one separate thing, and then the idea of the Dark Avengers is a whole separate thing. Because if we're talking about with Val, because like with the multiverse, we're getting things from WandaVision. WandaVision and Loki.
Yeah.
We see how all that happens, and then with the Dark Avengers, we're seeing that more with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Black Widow.
Yeah, and mostly the Hydra story arc.
But like mainly the characters that are not like that don't have like this out of world
ability
influence to their strength into their ability right now. So where like you have the multiverse, which is like Wanda and Loki right now, those are like out of world experiences.
Yeah, where their powers are super large in scope.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Whereas like you have the Dark Avengers, these, as far as we can see right now, so we have like, what's his face? Dollar Store Captain America and Little Black Widow sister. Like those things aren't necessarily like supernatural in nature.
Yeah. I think they did shoehorn them into another series, I have to say. But I do also believe that it is an intentional shoehorn.
It's very intentional.
They're trying to expand their universe because if anything, they're keeping the universe at home with Dark Avengers, so like the more relatable content. It's what's happening in our world as our tangible world, and then they kind of expand the universe, the MCU universe, with these other titles that allow them to kind of go into the fantasy of it all.
Listen, we want X-Men and we want Fantastic Four. The Eternals are the key to us getting to that based off story arc. They're going to open the door wide open into what it means to create beings with abilities, experimentation with beings with abilities. Then the mutant gene will come up. It's a lot of stuff that we're going to find out. Billy, what are you saying? Okay, since Doctor Strange was written by people on acid, I don't think you want it to get dark. It makes for a bad trip. Maybe already dark.
Well, I don't know about a bad trip. It could be a trippy trip. It
depends on how far we lean into the psychedelic imagery of the movie, because we got a little taste of it in the first Doctor Strange movie when the Ancient One opened his third eye.
He
went through that whole trip. That scene was beautiful and very Doctor Strange. If you've ever read Doctor Strange from the 70s, it was that.
Yeah. And honestly, Loki took that and to the next level.
Anytime like any
Not
of the
at all.
Anytime the characters are like in like Doctor Strange's realm, and then like they have like that out of body experience where like they're being like literally knocked out of their body. Like
it's a lot of astral
projection. Like that stuff is so fun to me. I love it. It's so crazy.
No, that one. What I love most about it is just because they're staked in. I mean, to be honest, most of the Marvel concepts are staked in ones in real life, so it's fun to see them become fantasized, fantastical in that way. So like we talked about nanotech at one point between So we can talk about.
Yes,
So
I
we're
did
going
see
to
that.
talk about nanotech for like 2 seconds. We're in, for example, they take nanotech, which is a real life technology, not nearly as fantastical as we see it in the comics, but now they take it and they've expanded it into this thing. Same thing goes with Doctor Strange and like the multiverse and stuff. So they're doing that with the timeline, which I love. They're they're analyzing it as cyclic in nature, and these things they're based in like actual philosophical findings and philosophical not findings but rather ideas and theories and stuff. So like I really like how they're weaving that into the MCU universe and then into their movies and kind of just making them bigger. But yeah, I think they've because I thought in Loki there a lot of the creation myth was really on par with Doctor Strange's like
it's on par with Doctor Strange's penchant for adding lore, but not in terms of like pure psychedelic imagery.
Okay,
like
fine,
there was like no magic to Loki, none.
That was the problem I had with it actually, until like the last episode where old man Loki was doing this whole illusion spell for the dragon. For the dragon, and yeah, we do spoilers here, so you guys will be fine.
Yeah,
and
I'll put
that
up
was
the warning. Spoiler.
But wasn't that the point though of you know what I mean of Loki is the fact that there wouldn't be any magic? Isn't that the just to put him in that defenseless position?
Magic in the movie with the guy whose whole power is being like a
because
master of magic?
He's supposed to be defenseless, and then we see him overcome. You know what I mean? We see his like him shine in his magic in the end.
But he doesn't shine.
Well,
I was actually disappointed.
What are you talking
old
about?
Man Loki shines.
Old man, but that's
Mobius
still Loki.
shines.
Is that still not Loki? It is, and the point is that he's teaching his. The point is that he's learning from himself that I do have more power. And then in the very next scene, he's he joins his power with Sylvie in order to do more. You get me? So it's like it that's the gateway for him to level up essentially. But like it has to happen some way somehow. But I enjoyed that. I thought there was plenty of magic.
So now I'm going to have to rewatch Loki, and I don't look forward to doing that. Like,
I'm sorry, but but Mobius was a great
Loki
character.
went
I have
through
to say, Owen Wilson shined.
Because the Loki that we follow in Loki is essentially the Loki from Avengers, the first movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes through an entire lifetime of character development and develops into a completely different character than the character that we followed through the rest of the MCU.
Right. But to be honest, I like this character more.
He watched like some home movies of his life, and he watched like the highlights of his life, and he was like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Stop. But don't act like that wouldn't change you though, especially if something you did led to the only person that you have any connection with, your mother, dying because of your reckless antics. That's not going to change you. Stop. Full stop. That'll change you a heartbeat. I'm totally here for that. I'm here for the character development that they gave him in this entire.
It might, but at the same time, it still changed him too much too quickly for me.
I don't think so. I thought it was really endearing.
Was it his mother dying that changed him, or was seeing himself die change him?
It was a lot.
I think it was both.
It was a number of
things.
Seeing
that his actions led to his mother dying. Seeing that he died, but also seeing that later on in his life, before he died, he actually came to a good standing with his brother and his father. Finally, right before they died.
That's true. Right, but I mean, well, that's because we're trying to give him. Well, MCU is trying to give him his redemption arc for the most part. He's a big redemption character.
His brother mourn him was probably a kicker in that too.
Yeah, he's a big redemption character. But I don't know. I am Loki sometimes. That's why I'm like I really resonate with his character development. Like when he was like the illusion of power for his
like I love Loki.
I was like
I love Loki too.
But
my issue is
utilize him.
Thank you. That's my issue, that they don't utilize Loki the way that they should. They use him as a mini villain.
Yeah.
So maybe then.
Well, that's what this is for. The turnaround. This seems like.
So maybe hopefully they'll start using him more within this next phase. But also, like, you're supposed to be getting another season of Loki.
Yeah, there's going to be a
What's
season
Correct.
2 of
So, like,
Loki.
so what does that entail for us? That's the next question. So like,
So
Yeah.
what we're going to get in season 2 of Loki, my whole complete and total like predictions.
Yes. Let's hear
One,
them.
the return of Ravonna Renslayer, but as Princess Ravonna.
Yes.
So she's going to become like the super, like, basically she's in the comics and everything. Ravonna is Kang's love interest.
Yes. Yes.
So she's going to become the warrior queen that he always wanted. But we're going to get actual Kang, and it's going to be delicious.
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
But
they're
also, of course, it's going to be the return of Sylvie and Loki and Mobius.
Okay, so all right, so really fast. I think we should do a really quick commercial break if we can.
I feel it.
If that's all right. So really fast, everyone, just like, subscribe, follow,
Yes.
all those things. We love you.
And turn on
Yes.
turn on your notifications.
Turn them
Yes.
on so you know when we're coming every Monday,
Right.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock just for y'all.
Live.
Just for y'all.
Multiverse.
Multiverse.
Okay, so on that note, commercial while we
Yes.
drink.
Mhm.
And we're back.
Felt like
Jermaine, the commercial was not that fast.
it
Was not
really
that long.
wasn't. It's like literally 30 seconds. So like that was my commercial for my company, Ricky Z Social Media, where I manage
Tell us all about
and
it.
produce podcasts. Yes, I manage and produce podcasts. So if you are looking for, if you're wanting to start a podcast, you're not quite sure where to go and where to start, you can talk to me and I'll help you out. But like what I love about this show is that we are like literally a group of creatives in
Oh.
some form and never, and it's so fun. It's been so fun working with and hanging out with this crew right here and like just talk about just all the different type of stuff. So it's been yes, that was my plug for my company right there.
It's been a good time.
As most beautiful queens, Ricky, you are an amazing kingmaker.
Thank you.
And you can produce anything under the sun, and we love you for that. So if you guys have a podcast, if you don't know if you want to start a podcast, if you're thinking about it, wait.
Nah,
Go there. Go there.
it's
Go
too
there.
hot for that wig.
No wigs, not yet. Not today. Not today.
Jermaine, the fans want the wig. Bring them the wig.
So if anybody knows anything about season 2, Jermaine has been almost consistently now wearing this wig. And it's young Jermaine that
Oh, geez.
it is in the style that he would have worn when he was a teenager, yeah.
And in other nights.
But okay, the worst part is that it's like the worst bowl cut ever. Anyway, so no, actually, it's like the He-Man cut. We live for it though. So
Jermaine, no!
Jermaine, no, Ricky, no. Okay, so we lost half of everybody, but it's okay. So we're gonna come back soon, shortly. So what I wanted to do was introduce we got a little bit of sound. So what I want to do is introduce the last titles that are supposed to be coming out for Phase 4 and just initial reactions from everybody, what they think it's going to be like, and then we'll, from the titles that we know of Phase 4, we're going to see where the rest of the MCU goes.
Yes.
Because like we're talking about Kang, and I'm pretty sure I don't think Kang is coming. To be honest, that they like these titles, the movie titles themselves don't point Kang to me, which is the one reason.
No, Kang is coming. He is actually a villain in.
Like it's further down. I feel like that's what I mean.
He may be in Fantastic Four. I know the answer. I just can't remember.
Yeah, I feel like.
But Fantastic Four is part of
Phase
this.
5.
It's at the end.
It's but it's in Phase 5 though. You know, Phase 4 still has like 3, 4, 5 more titles in the next like 2 years. and then they'll start the next phase and stuff. I mean, and like each phase kind of leads up to the other. Like Age of Ultron kind of led up to Endgame, so
Yeah,
like that
for sure.
it can still draw out. But I just think Kang is much further down the line than we think.
I just want to say he was great. It was so great to see him in that role. I follow him on Instagram, social media. He was in Lovecraft Country, which was amazing. Jonathan, you did your thing. If you're watching this, thank you so much for that.
He really did play that part really well.
I have a question for everyone, the viewers and this panel. How important is it for us? And if I'm getting off track, let me know. How important is it for us to see people of color in the future of Marvel? And in the sense of recasting or casting typically Caucasian roles.
Super important.
How important is that for you?
Super important. It's not in recasting the roles. I think it's important in including the characters that already are diverse.
Thank you.
Because we have a multiverse full of them. So it's like
that goes for DC too, because you know they've talked about like having Michael B. Jordan play Superman. Right,
it's but why? Just give me.
We already have multiple renditions of Superman. We already have multiple renditions of Spider-Man, with the exception of Miles Morales. Like, no, give us Miles Morales. I want Miles Morales. But like, we have, they've already written characters of color. They already have characters of color.
We have them. They just don't bank on them because they're not big names.
Exactly.
But they'll never be big names if you don't give them any spotlight.
Thank you.
But like, if you want to talk about like DC, you have Vixen. Okay, cool. You got to do more than You got to do more than animated stuff. You got to give them. Because DC wants to focus more on like the individual movies. Whatever. Look, they're not big picture. They're not big picture.
Not at all. DC is definitely what they feel at the moment.
Right. Yeah. Because they can't work towards the long haul like MCU can. Yeah. So if you're going to focus on the individual, there are plenty of individual characters that people would love to see. Static Shock is one of them.
Oh, absolutely.
People would love to see Vixen and not in
Vixen.
Cartoon,
thank you.
But like, also, they need to make sure, like, whoever is writing your stuff for the cartoons, let them have input on these live action movies, because the way y'all are writing these live action movies is shit. Like, this is why these are not doing well. Like,
they're not doing
fine.
Well.
They do great, actually. I mean, they relatively box office wise, they do fine. It's just like it's not good for the overall brand, as well as the animated series are doing, and like the TV series on CW, and even those are like,
and the direct-to-DVD animated movies.
I like the newer version of their CW shows, like Stargirl and Superman. The Flash is the same thing every season. Arrow, I'm glad it's canceled. But other than that, but the reason why I asked that question was there was a rumor about Professor X and Magneto being black or of color in the next movies. It's a no for me.
But
no.
It's like, I'm like, no. Well,
no.
I get how you can make Magneto Malcolm X-ish. I get how you can make Magneto, instead of the Holocaust, you can do civil rights. But I'm all for inclusion, but when it makes sense and when it's necessary.
Right.
Because if they casted a White Storm, the world would probably riot.
Yes.
So let's make sure that we do things that's intentional and when we need to do them, and play that card when it's necessary.
Honestly,
a black Superman, who cares?
Of those two, specifically Professor X and Magneto, I would say Magneto can be changed easiest.
Based on the trauma of his backstory.
Professor X's backstory is swamped in old people money, like turn of the century oil tycoon money. Like
not so much, right?
But Magneto, his story isn't so much important to being a German Jewish Holocaust survivor as it is being a survivor of
trauma,
an intended genocide from the state that he lives in.
Yeah, which can easily be placed in someone's black. I get that. I totally get it.
Right.
Not just someone black, but someone from anywhere. Look at anyone at any decade from any time in our world.
Yeah.
Every decade has some country that has tried to commit genocide. In the 50s,
Yes.
it was Korea. In the 70s, it was not Zimbabwe. The Congo.
The 70s was America with African Americans. The 80s was African Americans. The 90s was people of
Actually,
color.
the 80s was Cambodia.
Everybody.
Yeah.
If you're
So my
Okay,
thought process.
we know imperialism's terrible.
Right. So my thought process. I was thinking of someone's TikTok that I was thinking of, like how when we officially bring the X-Men into the MCU to the MCU, where we could give focus to other X-Men characters outside of Wolverine, number one.
Please.
But also
Give us a break from the Claude one.
But also Professor Xavier and Magneto, because as much as they've done so much with Wolverine, they've done a good bit between those Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, I'm tired of Magneto and Professor X.
So this is now time to go beyond that. Yes, they are a big face for X-Men, but I think it's time for us to look elsewhere.
Honestly,
give some of those characters that we didn't give the space before in the other movies the time to shine, or we start looking at some other characters in general.
Yeah,
I wish that, like, I understand they're using Magneto, but Magneto is a character that you have to use sparingly. He's an arch nemesis, yes, and he does have clashing ideals. But where Fox messed up is where they used him in every single movie.
Yeah.
He should come in one movie, be an antagonist, get beat up, and go, oh, I guess, whatever, and then F off for like 2 or 3 movies.
But they use him in just about every movie that
involves.
Like, he doesn't need to be the asshole villain by the end of every movie.
Right.
I agree with you completely.
Well, we all already know that they have been botching the X-Men movies generally. So we could talk about that, but that would be its whole other thing. So
that would be its own episode.
so moving on from that. Exactly. So back to the MCU and Phase 4. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the last few titles in Phase 4, and then from there we're going to predict, I guess, how.
Bro, you're still doing the recap?
No, we're in Phase 4. This is current time. This is what's coming out. What are you talking about? Okay, so what we have coming is what did I just say? Eternals is coming out. We have Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Thor: Love and Thunder, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man. And that's
honestly, a lot of these titles that they're throwing at us just seem like such randos. Like,
I feel like
Shang-Chi was a rando. The Eternals is rando.
Well.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're just expanding the universe.
It's more than expanding. It's super risky. It's riskier than going Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy like they did before. They're like, well, we struck lightning twice, so we can sort of do it with Moon Knight and the Eternals.
But here we are talking about all these other characters that we want to see get spotlight, and then here we are also. But you can't, you know what I mean? You can't say that and then turn around and then not be receptive to characters that are getting spotlight now.
Point.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's what they're doing. They're expanding the universe. They're introducing new characters.
They're introducing new characters, yes. But in the terms of the Eternals, what are they?
The Eternals.
Nobody knows anything about them other than them being the Eternals.
No, the Eternals are
nobody knows what they're fighting against. No one knows what they're fighting for. They're just supposed to be protecting Earth.
Okay, so here's what we know about the Eternals so far. This little bit that we know so far. So the
Eternals. You read the comics, you know a whole lot.
Right, but then as far as what they're doing with the film setup so far is, the Eternals are like Ego, where they are.
Are they connected to Thanos?
They are. They're celestial. Well, Thanos.
Angelina Jolie is his mama.
Yes. Okay. So the Celestials are a race. Okay. So we have like your creation race, there is a race above the Celestials. I forget what they are called, to be honest. They create the Celestials to be the caretakers of life on Earth, essentially. They create the Celestials which are born from planets. And then these Celestials particularly are tasked with taking care. No, the Eternals. Sorry, Eternals are different from Celestials. Lord Jesus.
I was like just waiting.
There it is. Celestials are born from planets. They are supreme god beings of sorts. They created the Eternals to protect life on Earth, which is essentially supposed to feed the Celestial gestating at the center of each planet, essentially. So like the star that powers each planet, in their lore, in the MCU lore, those are actual creatures that are slowly incubating. That's the word I'm looking for. Slowly incubating in the center of the planet, using us as cosmic energy, life as cosmic energy. So the Eternals preserve life so that life can feed the Celestial being birthed within the planet, and then to create a new Celestial. And so that's essentially their purpose there. And then what they're really doing is just they're kind of expanding the MCU lore with the Eternals, and that's what that route is taking. So that they're segueing with Doctor Strange and Wanda to move from our planet into that cosmic connection. That's what that is for. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I think they laid the groundwork with Ego, where Ego is also a Celestial, and he's
totally not a Celestial, but okay.
Is he not? I thought, isn't he? Oh, he functions like one or something, right? He pretends to be
a self-proclaimed Celestial, but he is.
That's what it is.
But also the Eternals movie, just in general, is to introduce the fandom to this entire scope of what it means to be creationary, to give lore to the history of what mutants could possibly be. Why are we seeing supernatural abilities? Because we've had Hawkeye, we've had Black Widow, we've had gods and things like that. But where are the mutants? Where are the other people? The Eternals is going to open that whole thing open. Open our minds into the idea of experimentation when it comes to genetics, and how they created different races, how they were created to do certain things. So it's just setting the groundwork for everything that we've been waiting for as it relates to X-Men, Fantastic Four, any of these mutant abilities that we've been holding in and waiting for that Marvel is going to give us. They are laying the groundwork, and just as intentional as Marvel always has been, they're going to do that again for us. So I'm excited for Eternals.
Yeah, that one I have to.
And the cast is just ridiculous.
Oh my god, everyone in it. Yes.
Everybody's just extremely talented.
That's all the Eternals are for. No one's excited for the Eternals specifically. Everyone's excited for the Eternals because they bring with them the explanation of X-Men.
I get it. But we are still, I understand. But I think that the screen adaptation we are much more into, if anything, more for the cast. the casting makes us want to see it a little more.
So
I wish they would have played Wanda and Pietro different.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, are we? There's that question, the underlying question when you're talking to MCU fans is Wanda an actual mutant?
No, they answered that.
In WandaVision, they are clear that no, she's a witch, and also.
So therefore, there's not that connection, not that direct connection, unless you go further out into the folklore for X-Men and MCU. So now, Wanda is not your direct connection to the X-Men anymore.
No, but what I think
not even Quicksilver too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing about WandaVision that bothered me is that they explained her powers. They're like, oh, she was always a witch. She's the fabled Scarlet Witch, the witch that was prophesied. But I'm like, but what about Quicksilver?
Right.
He's just her brother.
Right?
But
he just gets powers because he knows her.
That open-endedness also kind of opens the door, though. The kill keeps that door open for an explanation, though, that we're still kind of waiting for.
If they hadn't written the Quicksilver that was in WandaVision to be someone other than the Quicksilver that we know from the Fox X-Men universe, then that would be something different. We could talk about that. But in the MCU universe, like, yes, we find out now like she's like born a witch, but also she has influence with which stone was it?
The
Mind Stone.
The Mind
The
Stone.
Power Stone.
Yeah.
No, the Mind Stone.
No,
It
Space
was the
Stone.
Mind. Are
It
you
was the
sure?
Space
I thought it was
Stone
the
and the
Mind
It
Mind
was
Stone.
Stone.
no, it
It
was the
was the
Space
Mind
Stone. It
Stone.
was the one that was in the scepter, whichever was in Loki's scepter.
Oh, yeah.
It was that.
That wasn't that the Time Stone?
No, it's not the Time Stone. I thought it was the Mind Stone because it was yellow. But no,
Right.
but Vision has the yellow one.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the Mind Stone.
Right. I don't
Because-
remember. She
because
has a
she's able-
stone.
But yes, because she's able.
No,
to,
it is
like,
the Mind Stone because she can
because she's
control
able
Vision.
to connect. Well, she's
with
not able
Vision.
to. She's able to control
creates
him, but like
him.
she's able to like read him in a way. Like,
Can
this is,
someone
like,
tell
all-
us in the comments?
Right.
Can somebody tell us which
Tell us.
stone did she have an intimate relationship with? Because in the TV show, she found this stone and she blacked out and she became, saw a vision of herself as this powerful witch or whatever, and then she got a power boost.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with Wanda just in general. I love the show. I thought it was great by the time it finished. But I have this to say, and it's not biased. If you guys are going to hunt down Jean Grey for doing what she did, you definitely should be looking for Wanda because she is a villain.
Mm-hmm.
She's about
And
to,
Yeah.
sure.
she's a villain. And then some of my friends call her a Karen. I don't know if that's okay to say, but she's definitely a villain. And she needs to be destroyed. That's too much power.
She's definitely
Not
not
yet.
like your ultimate good guy yet. But like, but I also say the Mind Stone for her too because not only she's able to read Vision, but like the fact that she's able. Well, no, because that would be the Reality Stone. She's able to like.
Oh,
go
maybe
into
that's
heads
the
and
one.
change people's like reality in like a second. Shit. Now I gotta rewatch some more.
Okay,
movies.
I know it's been a while.
Somebody
I've been trying to look for it, but I'm pretty sure it's the Power Stone. Now I feel like it's the Power
I
Stone.
feel like
Can
it's
somebody in the comments, Decker,
Girl, we've
Decker,
been
help
trying.
us.
Someone on Wikipedia that shit real quick. Come on.
Right, I've been trying. No, but I just tried to, and it's actually not as easy as you would think. it's not as clear as you would think. So anyhow, well okay. So WandaVision gave us a lot, and we were really excited about that. But what about like? I'm kind of excited for any of the other ones. I would say She-Hulk. I'm actually kind of excited for.
I'm super excited for She-Hulk because the actress that they casted from Orphan Black, Thaisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that one's gonna be it's gonna be kind of comedy central. It's comedy centric, because they're supposed to be like following, like this girl who becomes She-Hulk and just like regular everyday life and like her regular everyday struggles of now being She-Hulk and like having to like, live as She-Hulk and be a person.
It's basically Jessica Jones.
Yeah. Essentially, it's a little
are we
bit more
talking
like
about She-Hulk?
Yeah.
See.
Turn up, Jermaine. Turn up.
Flip the wig.
I'm so scared for them to F up Jennifer Walters because I love Jennifer Walters. She-Hulk, like, I'm so scared that they're just going to turn her into female Hulk as opposed to She-Hulk.
Right.
Okay,
because She-Hulk is her own character.
She-Hulk is plain Jane, woo, invisible, whatever. I'm a lawyer, but nobody takes her seriously. No one pays attention to her. Dudes in the mob are trying to kill her, but no one will protect her except for her dad. Like,
yeah.
But they
and then she gets hurt.
A phenomenal
she gets the transfusion from Bruce, turns into She-Hulk, but she becomes Queen Va-Va-Voom. She hulks out into Serena Williams.
Basically. She's like Serena Williams and Meg Thee Stallion put together into one person.
And I love it. She's so tall and so she's so confident in herself now because she's got like the looks that she's always wanted, and she leans into her sexuality. She loves her sexuality. She loves to be able to wear skimpy, tight stuff now because she's like, look at me, well, bam,
right.
But like,
she pulls a Michelle Pfeiffer, Selena Kyle thing. And
great. I love it.
That's what we like.
And she can bench press like 17 Mack trucks. It doesn't matter.
Little
we are
Mac
here
trucks.
for it. Okay, so P.S. It was the Mind Stone that awakened her dormant powers,
Mhm.
I said
and
that.
then
Mind
transcended her witchcraft into chaos witchcraft, and now she's the
Yes.
Scarlet Witch. So it kind of amplified her powers to make her the Scarlet Witch. But
So now we have the realm of witches, and then we have sorcerers, and she's a witch who's stronger than a sorcerer, which is sort of not correct. But
Yeah.
she is a witch that's stronger than Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
She has to be stronger because she's a girl. And
because they're connected to the ethereal.
Therefore, Marvel has to elevate them by knocking all the dudes down. So, never mind
Down with
that
the patriarchy.
never mind that the Ancient One was the Sorcerer Supreme first, and therefore was a female and the strongest sorcerer on the planet. But now that Doctor Strange is, now he has to play second fiddle to the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but he would always play second fiddle to the Scarlet Witch. Wouldn't he always play second fiddle to the Scarlet Witch?
No,
you're Sorcerer Supreme. What's the point of being Sorcerer Supreme if someone's better than you?
Exactly.
Because the Scarlet Witch is not you know what I mean? It's not a self-made character. The Sorcerer Supreme is a self-made character. That's the self-learned witch versus the born witch, essentially, kind of in a way.
Well, that's what sorcery is. Sorcery is sort of self-taught, but like witchcraft is, in most cases, especially in cinema,
it is taught. Yes,
it's innate.
It is. Well, yeah, I know, but that's here we have it. You know, we're talking about Wanda, who we're talking about Doctor Strange, who has control of a Mind Stone, whereas Wanda has been transformed by it, transcended by an Infinity Stone. She's, you know what I mean? Her power is essentially greater in that way. It's inherently greater in that way now. Now it is, at least. You know, maybe
he is the strongest sorcerer on the planet, but also he is tasked with guarding all the magical extra dimensional junk.
And
mostly he's just supposed to protect them from interdimensional threats. So, you know, certain artifacts that are magical in that way, they will
artifacts like the Wand of Watum and the Cloak of Levitation,
they'll hold on to
the
them
Eye of Agamotto, the Book of the Vishanti.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And I mean that's also part of the whole, you know, sorcerer witchcraft trope, you know what I mean? A collection of these magical items and things. So they're always going, you know, that those are things that are in the comics that they want to still bring to life, but they also have to now weave into the MCU. So like they seem like they're kind of misplaced, but they're not. So essentially, yes, Doctor Strange in his sanctum with all of the artifacts at his disposal could probably be more powerful than Wanda. We know that he's going to be crucial to fighting Wanda when we think that she's going to go crazy in the next, you know, few installments or whatever. So it's not as if we don't think that he's going to be formidable in that way, but Wanda is, yes, inherently more powerful just because inherently she's more powerful.
Just to speak to that, there is a rumor that in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Not a bad trip.
That Wanda will fight a villain that is from the X-Men universe from Fox. And it's supposed to be one of the most epic scenes we've seen so far. So I don't know who that could be. However, that's just
they're going to bring back Rebecca Remain
as Mystique. Mystique versus Scarlet Witch. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a
right. unless they redo Rogue how she's supposed to be, but you know, whatever.
I'm trying to think.
Wait, you mean like a big someone to kind of meet
someone who's been in the Fox X-Men films? They're going to tap into the multiverse, and she's going to fight them supposedly.
You know
they
what?
say it may be Magneto. It could be Jean, but I don't think they have the. It's not time for that. And, Professor X.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How exactly did Agatha give Ralph Boner super speed?
The necklace. She enchanted it.
Yeah, she enchanted the necklace. However, she is, however, working for someone that we don't know. Also, remember that they are Mephisto. Yes.
Oh, Apocalypse versus Wanda. Okay, see,
There we
that
go.
feels
Apocalypse.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That feels
He already
good.
got beat by Jean. He got melted.
But
by a teenager.
But the
He
Fox
got
canon
beat by the
is.
Phoenix Force before she got Phoenix Force.
But the Fox canon is not. I don't
Before
think
she
it's
was
going
even
to
old
be.
enough to do that.
But that actually makes sense. That's how they can weave it in because we already have seen in the multiverse Apocalypse versus the X-Men. Apocalypse, versus Wanda will help bridge.
Will be a
that
dope
gap.
ass scene. It will be dope.
Exactly.
So I've been under the impression that like for Wanda, like the biggest ones would be either as far as the X-Men are concerned, it'd be Rogue, and then for as far as like the
it's like
Avengers,
her
like biggest foes, like so either it's gonna be Rogue or as far as the Avengers, it would be Captain Marvel. So like, what are we gonna get?
So
I can't think of anybody that's been present in the X-Men universe that I think they will release to us now, actually after being recasted and all of that will be worth seeing besides Apocalypse. I mean, I was going to say
the
Doom,
only person that they ever fought that got away was Psylocke. No one's excited for her.
I know.
No.
Okay, so here's another question: who within the X-Men universe has anything to do with like timelines? Because I feel like
that's what I was going to say.
Because Wanda is going to be really moving in that direction and like multiverses because she's trying to.
Have any of you ever read Uncanny Avengers?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so in the Uncanny Avengers is a comic book series from the early 2010s, and it was the team that came out of the fight between Avengers versus X-Men, because basically in Avengers versus X-Men, the Phoenix Force is headed towards Earth, and the X-Men are like, oh yay, this is going to restart. This is our chance to bring the mutant race back to actually being a thing. Because up until then, they were like an endangered species and no new mutants have been born. And there were only like 300 mutants in the world. So the X-Men were like, okay, this is a good thing for us. But Wolverine told the Avengers, yo, Phoenix Force is terrible. It's going to it's caused so much pain. We gotta stop this thing. So the Avengers were like, oh, we gotta stop this thing. Yeah. So then they come to a head. They end up fighting, but in the aftermath, the X-Men are like, yo, why are you guys involving yourselves now? Like, you have never fought for us, or you've always during all this time, during the Sentinels, Project Wide Awake, Project Operation Zero Tolerance, like the world has been down on mutants, and none of the Avengers have ever stepped up to do anything to protect mutants, despite you guys having 2 mutants on your team, at least 2 mutants on your team at all times, being Wanda and Pietro, and later Firestar and Justice.
And Storm.
That's not a reflection of the real world at all. But yeah, anyway.
Oh, of course, that's not a reflection at all, right?
Oh, and Wolverine. So then they make a unity team, which is half Avengers and half X-Men, and Rogue is a member of that team, but also as a member of that team is Wanda, and Rogue will not have it from Wanda because Wanda's the one that depowered the mutants in the first place.
Bitch. Excuse me.
So
House of what? House of X? House of
M. House of M. No more mutants, and she ruins it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
that
may be a thing. Oh.
Yeah, that could be a connection there. You know what I mean? They connected with Wanda through
because the theory like surrounding WandaVision was that they were pulling things from House of M, but it didn't come out that way. So like my thing is though, like how are they? So when they do introduce the mutants, how are they going to introduce the mutants when, like, if they were to pull from the Fox universe, mutants have been around this whole time. How are they going to introduce it to the MCU when it has not been mentioned at all? Like, are you going to talk about the beginnings of the mutants? Like, are these going to be a new thing? Like,
I
what are
feel
you going
like
to do to justify all of this that should have been happening together regardless?
I feel
Right.
like
they
might
were
make
to
it
bring the mutants into the MCU, they would have to bring them in the same way that mutants were introduced in the 1960s in the comics, where they are more or less not well known and most people don't know that mutants are a thing. So there are a few mutants, like old mutants like Apocalypse and Namor, but like there's one every few.
yeah, they
Like
could.
there's like one
Yeah,
or
they're
two
not as
every
rampant until
every
later.
50 years or every couple hundred years or whatever. But
Yeah.
like now there's starting to be like a baby boom of mutants. Like the teenagers now are starting to just mutant out like left and right.
Yeah,
But when you think
And that's
about
what
it,
would bring Professor X to be like, yo, I just like recently discovered that I'm a mutant or whatever, or I've learned that I'm a mutant, and I've
To be
learned that there are
honest,
other people that are mutants too.
you
And that's
know,
what causes him to start his school.
but that's
And
my issue.
Now talking about the timeline though, do we think maybe mutants have just been pruned this whole time, perhaps? Up until
I think that probably exists in another timeline.
that's what I mean. As
The
part of this,
rumor,
yeah,
there
the
was a
secret.
rumor that Scarlet Witch was gonna do like the reverse of what she did in House of M, and instead of saying no more mutants, maybe actually calling forth mutants. But here's my issue: most of these people in canon have their abilities since they were children, so you just can't say, "Hey, I'm Professor Xavier, and I just found out, and I'm 40 years old, and here's Cerebro, and I can find other people." No, it has to already been sort of
yeah,
incorporated in some type of way,
what
and the only way to do that is a different timeline.
what I mean is he's just now figuring out that there are other people that are mutants like him. Like the thing with Professor X is like, yes, he's had his power since he was like 12, 13 years old. But up until he meets Magneto, he didn't know that there were other people with superpowers like him. He didn't know there were
Right.
other mutants.
Yeah. Which is
And
always
that
the
was way
strangest
when he
thing.
was like in his 20s.
Because he's the one who reads everyone's minds. So it's funny that he'd be the one who wouldn't, he'd be like
That's 'cause
left
he has a
out. But it's like he'd
conscience.
be the one in. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, he can read minds, but since his issues with Kane growing up with Juggernaut, and sort of reading his mind every once in a while, and then making that sort of antagonistic, that sort of broke their relationship.
Yeah. No, I get it. So he wouldn't just kind of like do that. But my point is that it's funny because it's like, I didn't realize there were other mutants, but it's like, bitch, you're the only one who can read everyone's fucking minds. How could you not know?
Figure it out, right?
Hello.
But another entry point could be, and I watched a video on YouTube about this the other day. It was saying that the Illuminati, which it consists of a group of member, which is like Professor X, Tony Stark,
Reed
Dr.
Richards,
Strange,
Black Bolt.
Nova, Reed Richards. I think, is that it?
No, there's Namor, Reed Richards, Black Bolt,
that's it. Professor Xavier.
T'Challa was in it for a quick bit.
He is in it. Yep, he is in it. And so,
But
like, they're thinking about introducing the council, because the clip that I saw yesterday was saying that, in other universes, Tom Cruise is going to be playing Iron Man, and they're trying to get Patrick Stewart to come back to play, his role as the Professor X. But, Tom Cruise is supposed to play Iron Man in the beginning.
That I'll believe. That we can do without.
The disgust in me and Ricky.
It's really there. I cannot fix my face for it. So my thing is, so the thing is that I think we're all in agreement. So like, when they do introduce the X-Men, it's got to be a multiverse situation. Like it cannot be in the time. It cannot be in the timeline that we've had the first 3 or 4 phases of the MCU in.
It'll be a universal crash, like
to be honest,
Secret Wars.
That has been, to be honest, the legacy of this phase is creating this multiverse that now allows them to expand their universe into almost anything and everything, and
but also dive into everyone's grief
and dive into exactly. But you know, they oh god, but they've been really doing really good with the character development, so I'm actually excited about it. But
but I need I don't need Tom Cruise in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't need Tom Cruise in the MCU. We don't need that. We also don't need black versions of white characters. We just need their. We don't need. We just need colored versions. We just need the colored actual characters. Just bring them.
Go ahead and bring out those characters of color.
Exactly.
You already have written. You have source material.
Right. You got all these.
Son agrees.
He agrees.
Like you already got the characters of color in your source material. Bring that shit out.
Why is Rogue Asian? Somebody tell me.
What?
It doesn't make any sense.
Look, why are there people on the internet upset about the fact that She-Hulk?
Wait, since when was Rogue Asian? Hold up.
No, we were just talking about inclusion just for the sake of inclusion. Like we're all for inclusion, but it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
I'm just saying, like there was a thing where like folks were really like mainly guys, dudes that were really upset with the fact that like they're putting out a She-Hulk. Like She-Hulk didn't have her own like shit.
Right, like she didn't have her own comic. Is that like why wouldn't she have her own title?
Like,
Can't she have?
Tell me you haven't read a comic without saying you haven't read a comic. Be like, there are plenty of these like She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, like all the like Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman, I think, had her own cartoon before Spider-Man did, and that's on Disney Plus. Shit, like I'm just saying, like these things are there. You just gotta,
Yeah, you just gotta look for them. You have to. You have to acknowledge that
She-Hulk, I've seen that discourse where they were like, She-Hulk, what's next? They're turning all of our heroes into females. And I'm like, y'all never played Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
Right? Like
you never read a comic book?
Thank you. She-Hulk has always existed.
Y'all never watched a Hulk cartoon? Because she's in all of them.
Bitch, she had a whole crossover with the Ninja Turtles, like for a hot minute. Where were you for that?
I'm saying, like, Google is free 365.
Right?
24/7.
Okay, I'm here for this shade. Tom Cruise
could play someone in any era because his plastic face. Oh my god, his plastic face hasn't changed since the 90s.
No, it has not. No, it has. Jenna, no.
Jenna, no.
He found Scientology, and it has preserved his face for all time.
Not his face being blessed by Scientology.
But because he's had the same face since like 95 and I'm 33, like that's how I know that I don't need to see Tom Cruise's face on my movie screen.
Tom Cruise has found his Scientology celestial, his inner
Scientologist
celestial, whatever the hell.
Tom Cruise would be hella fun as MODOK.
Oh my god. Can we petition for that? Let's do that. Let's make him like a crazy nasty character.
Okay. So what is that series with? It's not New Mutants. It's the Runaways.
Yeah,
he would have been great in the Runaways. The whole storyline, like
I didn't like it to the second season.
I didn't watch it.
I liked the Runaways. I liked the first season, of course, but like the whole idea of like this church.
I love that part.
Totally powered by like an alien being. That's Scientology. That's Scientology.
You don't love that way. Oh God. Oh P.S. I thought Katie Holmes was at this concert. Random.
You know what?
She never ages. She still looks like she's like 21 or whatever.
The Runaways was.
Look, I think after she left Tom Cruise, she got some of her stuff back.
Dignity back.
Yeah.
She got.
We gotta wrap it up.
I have a question.
Okay, we gotta go.
Oh, we gotta go.
Shoot.
Same question.
Hit your question.
Okay, so this is for everybody, and if you have an answer, make sure that you respond back. I'm sorry, my allergies are doing something to this eye, but I haven't. So listen, what is one casting that you are excited about for Phase 4 and beyond? A character casting that you're excited to see.
You know what? Low key, just to answer you right now.
Low key,
I'm excited for the next like half black, half white mixed girl that they get to be in like in Spider-Man because I'm pretty sure she's going to be Black Cat because that's totally his type.
Felicia,
I'm just
please.
saying.
Yeah.
Felicia Hardy. I love Felicia Hardy.
I love
Shade,
Felicia
but no
Hardy.
shade. Shade, but no shade.
She's definitely gonna be probably black and Blasian.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. She's gonna be mixed.
I'm just saying.
They got all
MCU,
the
Peter
mixed
got a thing
girls
for the mixed
on
girls.
Spider-Man right now.
Mhm.
They
What
got all
about
the
you,
mixed
Ricky?
girls Spider-Man. Oh God. I want to see Ms. Marvel. I'm excited for that. I guess that's more for Phase 5, right? But I'm gonna
No,
No,
she's in
coming.
Phase 4.
She's the Middle Eastern superhero, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming soon. She's gonna be in the Marvels.
Yeah.
So I want to see Ms. Marvel for sure, and I want to see what they do. As far as rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But like, what did they do with Black Panther 2?
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
far as,
I'm nervous.
What direction they take?
They're just going to
Black
lean
Panther.
hard onto Okoye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, they're definitely also putting together, laying the groundwork for Young Avengers. Just over.
Also, like,
They are.
Ironheart is
are we
coming
gonna
out
get Riri?
soon, and some yeah.
Are we gonna get
Ironclad is coming. The two boys that Wanda is destroying the multiverse looking for is going to be part of the Young Avengers too.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Cassie Lang and Patriot. I mean, Isaiah Bradley.
Yes.
So
yes.
But also I want to see some new folks. I want to get invested in some new faces.
Mm-hmm.
I love Zendaya. I love Tom Holland. I love some of the ones that we've seen. Like Tom Holland was fairly new when he came out with Spider-Man. Like he wasn't really well known.
But he's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Right. But I love him. I think he's a sweet cinnamon roll. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He just, but particularly because they started him off and like they really stuck with the high school phase of Spider-Man. So he totally fits that. I'm a geeky, like awkward,
that awkward teenager vibe.
Right. So like the fact that Tom Holland really plays that well, and they've stuck with him being that young throughout this portion of Spider-Man, it works out as opposed to like Tobey Maguire. But Tobey Maguire is great. You get but you only get a portion of him in high school. Right, you only get a portion of him in high school. You actually see him grow, but like
whatever. Okay, yeah.
But with Tom Holland, you get him like in the high school phase. He's really like
a teenager.
What?
With Tom Holland, there's one thing that I have to say, and like he's getting older. He's like what, 23 now?
Yeah.
We need to hurry up and get the Fantastic Four in here because he and Human Torch need to be around the same age.
Yes.
You think so?
And Iceman.
Yes.
Because those three are the original Amazing Friends. And I need that in my MCU.
They're also like the Amazing Studs. Can we talk about it? All right.
But,
Spider-Man, Iceman.
But the thing is though, like luckily for Tom Holland, he still has a baby face.
A baby face.
Yeah.
And hopefully he doesn't do anything to ruin that baby face. So keep being unproblematic and moisturizing.
Next time you see him, he has a face tattoo.
Okay, what was disappointing about his installment was he's not as sassy as I wish he would be. I thought Andrew Garfield's version was the sassiest version and my favorite. I love sassy Spider-Man. So I hope that they grow Tom Holland into sassy Spider-Man as he gets older. You know what I mean? And becomes more confident.
I love the idea awkwardness. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like he's tapped into the best of Toby and the best of Andrew, and he's the best of both of those. And that's why I think he's the strongest Spider-Man that we've had.
Oh yeah,
I love all the other ones. I love
the awkwardness of his Andrew. Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like I love just that I'm super smart and I'm trying to figure out my thing, but like I'm so in awe of all the things that I'm surrounded by. Like I'm so in awe of the fact that like I have this connection with Tony Stark and the Avengers but like I'm still trying to be like a regular teenage boy and I'm trying to get the girl that I really like and like there's something really cute and endearing about that awkwardness that he has because he's playing someone that's legit a teenager through majority of the time that we have him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartedly.
All right, so
and who do you think?
what is our subject for next episode?
Yes. Ricky?
Ooh. Yes, so it is me and we. I haven't on here to post yet, but I will tonight. So when the show's over, you'll see the broadcast for the next episode coming up soon. But what did Billy Wizard say? I'm sorry. If you want awkward, it's definitely going to be a skinny boy. Yes, exactly. It's got to be.
Yeah.
If there's a picture of awkward, it's going to be a skinny white boy
Yes.
that's nerdy.
You'll find that in the
skinny
Urban Dictionary. You'll find
Yes,
that
like-
definition.
Who's infatuated with
It's
her
in there.
melanin beautiful woman?
Oh,
Young
Look,
girl.
is into the swirl. Is into the swirl.
Season.
okay. So yeah, next week
All right,
we're
so-
doing.
So sorry. Next week, Steven Universe.
Yes.
If you've been paying attention to me at all, I've been all about the Steven Universe. Me and the kids have been about Steven Universe. I've named my new puppy after a Steven Universe character.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
we're talking about Steven Universe. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, it's all on seasons 1 through 4. It's on Hulu, but the entire series with the seasons 1 through 5 of Steven Universe, the Steven Universe movie, and Steven Universe into the Future series.
The whole universe.
The whole Steven Universe.
The whole Steven
HBO
Universe universe.
Right, it's on HBO
The
Max.
universe.
So you don't,
The master of
Yes,
the
the whole-
Steven universe.
yes, it's
Oh,
all
no.
on.
Not Steven Universe on Eternia.
By the power of Steven
That was for you,
Universe.
Jermaine. That was definitely for you.
No, because I really
Oh, I
wanted to
need
ask
to
that
make that
question.
crossover right now.
I really wanted to talk about that though, because like the fact that like, what was it? We're having the whole like the nanotech-ish stuff with the
Mhm.
magic stuff, and like what's going to overpower the other. Connection with what we talked about last week with Master of the Universe. But multiverse things. But next week, Steven Universe, if you haven't watched it yet,
Y'all got
Why-
a week to catch up.
Do
Right.
it.
A week.
and
Yeah.
honestly, the actual episodes for Steven Universe are only like 15 minutes.
They're
20
like
minutes
11 minutes
max.
long.
Right, they're
They're
not that
quick.
long. Like you could easily watch like the entire thing.
Yeah. And like
So-
Where is it on HBO Max?
Until
Mhm.
we meet again next week.
yes. All right, guys. Thank you all. We'll be seeing you all soon.
Yes.
Oh wait, where can we find everybody real fast?
Oh,
so
yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
I mean, you can see
Sign
all of our
off.
you
Go.
can see all of our tags, but you can find me on Instagram, Bad Juju with double D's, JUJU. Yeah, moving on. Ricky, where can we find it?
You can find me like in any formation of Ricky Z. So there's an underscore somewhere in there for most things. RICKEY Z. You can find my logo or just find my beautiful face.
Yes.
And therefore you'll find me in multiple platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all the things.
You can find me everywhere at Tamon Kane, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have a PlayStation PSN, at Tamon Kane.
Ooh,
Find me. I totally confirm.
Yeah.
excellent. And you can find me on Twitter at Jafir. On
Yes.
Twitter.
On Twitter streets.
Hey,
All right, y'all. So we'll see y'all next
next
week.
week.
Yes. So,
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Good
all
night.
right, y'all.